students on reserve. In some ways, Aboriginal peoples off reserve are in the worst of all possible positions. We carry the unhealthy legacy of Aboriginal policies and dysfunctional backgrounds without the support and encouragement of an Aboriginal community around us. Keep in mind, our responsibility as educators is to help our students develop their identity.
And we follow the Ontario curriculum as much as we can, but we incorporate Aboriginal studies in the culture from the First Nation that we live on, which is Ojibwe, and the Three Fires. But basically we try to give the students the best education they can, and we strive for high quality and following the Ontario curriculum, because eventually our students do end up going to universities or colleges, we hope, and they need to be able to fit into the culture that's surrounding. We have a native language teacher, we have a WHO committee that is helping us have resources, there's stories, there's some of the stories that come to mind are the Nana Bush stories. We use those. The native language teacher uses a lot of resources from the WHO organization, the Wiki Heritage organization. They have produced some videos and things that they use.
It's incorporated in all subject areas. As soon as the kids walk in the door till when they leave, it's all about their history, their identity. So in every subject it's incorporated. History.
Ways to incorporate Aboriginal culture into your history classes. 1. Define terms such as Aboriginal, First Nation, Indian Act, treaties, etc. 2. Use multiple resources, including ones from Aboriginal authors. 3. Research and discuss the erosion of Aboriginal language.
The operation is, or whatever we're studying, it's just a lot of our own history. It's a lot of our own timelines, and that can be incorporated.
For example, how Aboriginal peoples used trade and barter. The concept of zero was independently discovered by the indigenous people of Central America. How Aboriginal peoples were traditionally able to measure time using a variety of means. Aboriginal population in Ontario. Breakdown of Aboriginal identity population Ontario, 2001 census. 69.9% First Nation, 25.7% Métis, 0.7% Inuit, multiple or other Aboriginal identity, 3.7%. Aboriginal identity population in Ontario by area of residence, 2001 census. On-reserve population, 22%. Rural off-reserve population, 17%. Urban population, 61%. First Nation identity population in Ontario by area of residence, 2001 census. On-reserve population, 30.5%. Off-reserve population, 69.5%. Did you know that Toronto has the largest population of Aboriginal people according to the 2001 census? Aboriginal youth population under age 25 in Ontario, 2001 census. Aboriginal population under the age of 25, 46%. Aboriginal population age 25 and over, 54%. This means the population of Aboriginal students in your classroom is growing. According to the Education Policy Framework, school boards in Ontario will be starting programs where Indian, Inuit, and Métis students can voluntarily and confidentially self-identify. This will allow the government to provide funding where necessary. This will also contribute to the growth of population of Aboriginal students. This is important. It is your responsibility to facilitate healthy development of your students' identity. Incorporating Aboriginal culture into your classroom can help all your students.
Sensitivity, cultural sensitivity. I think there should be more, having an open mind, an open environment to allow people with diverse backgrounds, allow them to bring their information, their knowledge to the table and to be open about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Allowing that environment to happen, where somebody would mention maybe a value from their culture or a dance from their culture, so that they don't get shut down.
Yeah.
Saying, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about. So just allowing that
Just that
environment.
you work in a First Nation, try and get a job there, because I think it's the most rewarding thing that you can do. I started in a remote First Nation, and now I'm here in Wiki, and I've worked my way up to being principal, and I think the opportunities are there, and I think the opportunity is there for you to learn more about our First Nation people, and I think that's important for all educators to have a really good understanding of First Nations. And when you're teaching history, then you can give it from a perspective that you have learned from the original people.
To accept First Nations, you talk about at the same level, Aboriginal teachings, use factual information. The only place you'll get that information is from Aboriginals that know the history. When you teach Aboriginals or non-Aboriginals, teach them the truth.
Sensitivity, openness, experience First Nations, acceptance, teach the truth from the source. Framework principles. The First Nation, Métis, and Inuit Education Policy Framework is guided by the following principles. One, excellence and accountability. The Government of Ontario believes quality education is essential for the continuing development of both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal communities. The academic achievement for every First Nation, Métis, and Inuit student is supported through the delivery of quality education. The Ministry of Education provides support and resources adapted to the specific needs of First Nation, Métis, and Inuit students. 2. Equity and respect for diversity. The Government of Ontario creates and nurtures an academic environment for every First Nation, Métis, and Inuit student that promotes the development of a positive personal and cultural identity, as well as a sense of belonging to both Aboriginal and wider communities. The Government of Ontario creates and supports an academic environment that fosters First Nation, Métis, and Inuit languages and cultures. It acknowledges the diversity found in First Nation, Métis, and Inuit communities and endorses learning about First Nation, Métis, and Inuit cultures, history, and perspective.